Hey everyone, Tony Panek here. This is Panek in the Region, and the region is full of many great theaters of all shapes and sizes, one being here in downtown Hammond. Of course, I'm talking about the Towle Theater. Now, I stopped on by to talk to Jeff Casey about, well, the past year. As we know, the pandemic hasn't been easy on live theater, as well as the hopeful future that remains ahead. Joined now by Jeff Casey, Manager Director here at the Towle Theater. Jeff, before we get into anything at all, how you been doing? How's the theater been?
We're hanging in there. We're doing better than most in our industry, and just trying to get through like everybody else.
Tell me about the Towle, because it's got a fascinating backstory. What's a little bit of history?
Yeah, so we opened in 2003 as the Towle Theater, and have been operating year-round ever since. It's named Towle Theater after Marcus Towle, the first mayor of Hammond, who happened to build the Towle Opera House on this site in 1903. So while unfortunately none of the original opera house existed by the time we took possession of the building for renovations, we just thought it was a nice homage to the original mayor, who had the vision of bringing live theater to downtown, to name it after him when Mayor Diedlow did the same thing in 2003.
Well, live theater, of course, hasn't really been that much of a thing the past year here, but looking around, Jeff, it looks like you're set for maybe some kind of production here, are you?
We are, again, fortunate than most, more fortunate than most. We had originally slated Daddy Longlegs, a musical, to perform last May. So we had our cast in place. We had our first rehearsal already last year. Pandemic hit. Everything shut down like it did for everybody. We stayed in contact with Isabella and Adam, the two actors who are in the show. And when we thought the opportunity presented itself where it would be safe enough to rehearse a two-person show, we called them, talked them through what our safety and health protocols and procedures would be. They felt really comfortable. We had a rehearsal early in December to kind of get them in the space again to ensure they felt safe and secure, and they did. So the team started in earnest at the beginning of January, and we'll be ready with the show in February.
And that's available online, or will be available online?
It will be, yeah. So we're working with John Carpenter at Thunderclap Recording right here in Hammond, and John's going to do a multi-camera, multi-day shoot of the show. So when you order our on-demand show, Daddy Longlegs, it won't be like the 1980s dad camcorder in the back of the theater jumping around and one kind of boring stationary shot.
Although there's something nostalgic about that.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So John's going to do a great job. He'll edit it all together. So really what you'll be purchasing to view on demand is a filmed version of a live stage show.
Of course, if people want to still help the live theater continue on into further years, they could still donate to help you out, right?
Absolutely. We're a not-for-profit. And for those that don't know, even if you don't typically itemize on your taxes, both for 2020 and 2021, part of the stimulus package is that you can write off up to a $300 donation to a not-for-profit. We can provide a tax letter, so it makes it super easy for you and or your accountant at tax time. A lot of people say, I really don't have a lot right now, which we totally understand. You would be surprised at how quickly $20 or $25 adds up if a whole bunch of people do $20 or $25. So, and again, we're not for profit. We're right here in Hammond. We're not going anywhere. So if you can help now, we would really appreciate it. And if not, when we open, please come out and check out a show.
That's good to know for sure. Now, what's the hopes for the future here, Jeff? I see things slowly but surely kind of getting back to normal. It's been almost a year now, going on a year. Can you believe that?
No.
What's the hope for the future here?
Yeah, so immediately what I can tell people is that our May time slot has been canceled for this year. We just don't feel like the vaccine rollout will be successful enough to welcome people back. So the goal is a July performance live in our space, maybe with a still reduced size audience. Certainly we hope by September, the time slot, we should be able to be up and running. If at the very worst case scenario, in our opinion, A Fabulous 50s Christmas, our annual holiday show, will be back for the holidays, because by then enough people should be vaccinated. We should kind of know what we're doing as far as protocol and procedures. So yeah, like I said, we're not going anywhere. The mayor and the city have been incredibly supportive. Our board has worked really hard over the past 12 months to ensure that when we're ready to open, we will.
Jeff, one last question here, and I'm glad to hear about the Christmas thing. That would be a great Christmas gift for everybody.
Yes.
But one last thing here. Why is live theater so important to society, to a community?
Oh Oh my gosh. It really is. I know everybody says this about their art form, but it's unlike any other art form. Film and television are great, but there's that lack of energy exchange in film and television that in live theater you get. The audience is literally experiencing and watching something that will never be replicated exactly like that again. Every live performance is a little bit different. There are nuances that the actors bring in the moment that even sometimes surprises them. So there's certainly that element. The other element is it's a way to tell stories that can't be conveyed in any other art form. The storytelling through theater is unique. It's special, and we're very fortunate to be in Hammond, like I said, since 2003, and we hope well into the future. So we think we're a vital part of the community. We tell stories that other theaters aren't telling, and that's why we think it's important. That's why we're here, and that's why we hope people will support us.
Well, I too, like Jeff, remain hopeful and optimistic that soon our theaters will go from looking like this tough crowd to this. That's much better. Thank you. Remember, tip your wait staff. Good night, everybody. Take care. Thank you. Please, pause. Sit down, everybody. Sit down.